Good evening. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you to the weekly BW Education Wednesday Wisdom. We today have an education leader in Dr. V Raja Kumar, who is the director of the IIT Bhubaneshwar, joining us in a conversation with BW Education. Thank you, Dr. V Raja Kumar, for joining us. First of all, as an education leader, how has been COVID for you last 10 and a half, 11 months in the context of running an institution like IIT Bhubaneshwar? What were the challenges and how did you convert them into opportunities?
So like everybody else, we were also caught all of a sudden with the most unexpected and unfortunate pandemic. Running the education in usual standards of an IIT, even during the pandemic, has been the first the challenge faced by the institute. It is the same challenge faced by everyone. But fortunately at IIT Bhubaneshwar, we could take actions in advance, and we did some background work. Therefore, in a very commendable manner, we could switch over to online education with zero gap at IIT Bhubaneshwar. On 18th March, we started online education, while till 17th March, we had education with the physical presence of students. This could be done with the prior training sessions organized for our faculty members. The faculty members were advised to give the lecture in front of a camera, the webcam of typically the webcam of a laptop, and we made arrangements with Microsoft Teams well in advance to have online sessions with all of our students. And for students, it was not much of training was needed. And so we could do it with some minor hiccups on day one. But 1 week in advance, the faculty members tried by themselves to deliver online lectures over a weekend. And with a short training session, we could do it, and we could switch to online education with zero gap. That was indeed an achievement. And so the lectures continued. We had we have taken feedback from students time and again, and we have further improved the standards of online education. There were some learnings in this assignment, including the facilities and the wide-ranging connectivity on the students' front, and how we could fix up those gaps, etc., is a tremendous learning in this process. Therefore, online education happened at our institution. For laboratory work, what we resorted is to a partial exercise done is what we resorted to. The faculty members took a video of a laboratory experiment demonstration, and sometimes it was also done, in many cases, it was also done in the presence of the students and online. So therefore it was live, or it was a saved video of the demonstration of a laboratory experiment. That's what was done by faculty members, and this was turned on and it was shown to students. Therefore, students could have at least the demonstration part of a laboratory experiment. The hands-on was still missing. And for the last year passing out batch, we couldn't help much.
You could do a physical one, but Of course, you did a virtual one. Go on, sir.
Actually, for engineering laboratories, we do not have virtual laboratories available, except for some.
It is not possible. How do you do it? Classes are virtual, but in terms of practical and experiments, you can't do anything.
Right, where you have the laboratories like design and simulation laboratory. So it is a human exercise that is done, and you can't have a virtual laboratory for it. But for some of the laboratories, we can have virtual laboratories also. But typically, the way we do in IITs with in an interactive mode is difficult to have in the virtual laboratory practice. Therefore, we had to resort to the demonstrations of the laboratories, and the faculty members gave assignments and then asked them to, and made the students submit their records. That's how we ran the laboratory part of our education. Now, the most important and the third item is to conduct the examinations for the students. And in IITs, our examinations are comprehensive examinations, which can be done only by pen and paper. Computer-based tests have limited scope. Computer-based tests can be used where the answers are in the form of A, B, C, D, or filling up of small blanks. Well, IIT education is very comprehensive. For that matter, engineering education is very comprehensive. And if one wants to assess the performance of students, then one has to resort to the comprehensive examinations which are done with pen and paper. We have long diagrams to be given, we have derivations to be given, lots of mathematical formulae and text. So the mix is possible only through pen and paper examinations. Now, the immediate challenge was to conduct examinations for the passing out batch of last year, and then apply the examinations to pass the junior students also to the examinations. And in the market, we don't have products available for conducting comprehensive examinations across the globe. Very simple, there are no products available. And to maintain the standards of examination, invigilation is important too. The proctoring facility offered by some of the available, commercially available products for conducting computer-based tests, not comprehensive pen and paper tests, computer-based tests, have proctoring facilities, but not the full-fledged facilities for doing invigilation. But what IIT Bhubaneshwar could do is, looking at the situation well in advance, we came out with our own mechanism of holding comprehensive pen and paper examinations by online. And since none of the tools are readily available for us to serve as a part of our system, we had to do get a lot of enhancements done and a lot of customization done to existing tools. Fortunately, the VBox came forward. A lot of customization was done with our guidance and support, and a lot of enhancements were also done to the tool VBox. And we use this as the examination management system of our tool. To that tool, we also added an invigilation system built in-house, and so interfaced to each other, one with the other. and created a tool for conducting, a method for conducting pen and paper comprehensive examinations online. But our system requires two independent connections. So it can be broadband and two broadband connections, or one broadband and one cell phone connection, or two cell phone connections. We made our tool so flexible so that the system so flexible so that our students can take the examinations with a wide variety of connections. There was about 4% of them. Finally, we found 3 to 4% of them who could have only single connection. We did also take care of them through a very empowered help desk. And with this kind of system developed in-house, training done prior to our faculty, and conducting mock tests with the students' participation, we went ahead, applied this method, and passed our outgoing batch with no compromises in examination standards, and passed them conducted the examinations in the month of June. We also gave two options for them in case they have shortage of facilities and connectivity, because it may be challenging at that time to get the second connection. So we gave them another option of taking the examinations in July. But I'm very happy to mention that 100% of the students availed the first opportunity, and they took the examinations with absolutely no problems. And the institute could pass the last year's outgoing batch with no compromise in the examination standards. That is the third digital thing we talked about, that is in terms of performance evaluation.
If I may ask Dr. V Raja Kumar, one of the things when you talk to educationists, education leaders, and you talk to the whole ecosystem is about this hybrid model, the advantages and the disadvantages of that. And of course, like you said, you can't do practicals through hybrid. It's not possible, right? Like you can't manufacture goods by being through Zoom. So now that in some time, hopefully we'll have the choice of either having a full-blown physical education like we used to have it, as in face-to-face, as in on campus. And we also have had the advantage of, education through virtual tools. What is your sense? Will the hybrid model, the mixed model, will continue to stay, or do you think it will give way to the old system of how we used to create talent for the future?
Thank you for this question. I would like to cite my previous example, or the example of my previous assignment at this, to answer this, to describe about the hybrid model. In 2010, I joined the Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technologies in Hyderabad as its founding vice chancellor. That university was started with an annual intake of 6,000 students, unheard of in the history of India, into a 6-year BTech taken after class 10. When I took over, I had the first year BTech students in first year intermediate equivalent. Just entered second year intermediate equivalent, and 6,000 in number. Second batch with another 6,000 in number in first year intermediate equivalent. That's the kind of assignment. It was. And I was faced with the challenge of doing everything for them, setting up labs, getting faculty, and building the laboratories, building the civil infrastructure, and run education, and finally make them employable. And that's the kind of challenge it was that was given. It could be done. It gives me immense satisfaction, and it could be done with a lot of innovations on my part as the founding vice chancellor at that time. I did use blended or hybrid mode of education for educating the students in that university. And that too, 6,000, the first batch had 6,000 students, and that was the annual intake, and they were all rural students. And lots of outstanding things could be done because of this blended education. So as far as the laboratories are concerned, there is no shortcut. You need to provide hands-on experience and for the students to get full-fledged training. So in the hybrid model does permit that. So where you need to pass the students through a real classroom teaching, you can do that. The laboratories, you need to do that. To that extent, the hybrid of online and physical presence is served, and for laboratory, it was with the totally physical presence. For classroom teaching, I have adopted at that time, I did adopt the online lectures or saved lectures from best of faculty in the country. Fortunately, the IIT system had a large number of engineering courses recorded by them. And then the NMEICT and SWAYAM came up a little later. And with all of these in place, even at that time, about 60 to 70% of the courses, there were video lectures available from best of people in the country. They were all select people from the IIT system. Now, what I could do is through the video lectures, and I could play the video lectures as per the timetable in the classrooms for the students, and the best of faculty were made available. The lectures of best of faculty in the country were made available to the rural students on their laptop in the classrooms. So that's what could be done very successfully. And to my knowledge, that is the first real-time implementation of the hybrid model in reality. And it was a grand success. Lots of amazing things were done by the students, and the students' performance was outstanding in benchmarking tests like GATE. So it was the hybrid model. So therefore, hybrid model facilitates scaling up of limited facilities to, I forgot mentioning that I had a classroom teacher also present there in the classrooms for the students. So in the hybrid model, the video lecture from best of the faculty was played in the classroom. Then an interactive portion done by the physical presence of a classroom teacher in the class, and 1 hour lecture was mapped into a 2-hour exercise. That's the kind of a very innovative model of my own was adopted in that university. The university is still continuing, and in my final year, the university strength was 25,000 students. All batches were put together from final year to the first year, and they were. It is the same model through which the students were passing, and even today, the same model is working for them, and the university is working on that. Scale problem could be achieved, could be overcome. That's number one advantage. The second advantage is that the best of faculty's lecture could be made available to rural students in an institution set up in rural areas. And the learning is that rural students can learn about the use of laptops and the lectures, and it needs only 1 week to 2 weeks of time maximum. with all citizens, even those who are not so much literate, are able to use the cell phone today in our country, and to a very good extent, including saving video clippings and communicating to different people, even without the knowledge of English. So a similar experience was faced there also. There was absolutely no problem in the usage of IT tools by the rural students, and it could be implemented very successfully. So a hybrid model or a blended model can be adopted even today, and it could be done at that time also. And all these stored media and live online media both can be used in a blended form even today.
Thank you so much. I want to ask you two real questions. I want short answers to them. One is, how have been the placements this year? Has there been any impact, positive or negative, on the placements? Second is this issue, when we talk of STEM education, and you have a large number of students in your institution, how do we get more girls, more women into STEM education? One, what is the impact on placements this year? And second, how do we get more women/girls into STEM education?
Placements this year, at least I have not seen any impact at all in the placements at the IIT domain. For example, this year so far, already 60% of students are placed, and remaining also will be placed. And this figure is slightly higher than the figure last year. The January, 1st February figures today are better than the 1st February figures of 2020. So placements this year are slightly better, and that rising trend in the placements, whatever we have seen 2 years back, last year, and even 3 years back, the same trend is continuing, and despite the pandemic. Therefore, I would say that there is no impact found at all. In fact, there is a steep rise in even the average salary of our institution. Total placements by this time, average salary and peak salary, in all of them, there is a rising trend. The only difference we found this year is that the companies conducted the tests online. And our students are still across the whole country, and they're at their home places, and the education is continuing and happening. And placements also happened online from their places, and there's absolutely no impact. This is my answer to your first part of the question. The second part is a very relevant part. See that our women students, women also get enrolled, or girls also get enrolled for engineering education, and have so equity and equality really implemented. You may be aware of this fact that government of India adopted a mechanism of providing supernumerary seats for girl students. Let me explain. Typically, till about 3 years back, in the IIT system, the percentage of women students has been only 8%, particularly in undergraduate education. In master's education, it is slightly better, and in PhD, it is even better. So that's how it is. But for BTech education, it was 8%. What the government did is, the government requested the IITs to rise the intake and provide supernumerary seats to women students, so that their percentage is 20%. And this was not done in a single go. It was done in a 3-step manner. So initially it was some percentage, about I think 10% or 7%, 10%. Subsequently, it was made to 14% in the next year, And last year it was 20% in 2020. So right now, our undergrad, as a result, the undergraduate admissions have seen 20% of women students, in the BTech program. So by the women seats were made available by creating supernumerary seats, not affecting the male student seats for the percentage of seats for the male students. That's what was done. It was not a reservation. It was somewhat different from reservation. Out of the seats beyond the once the first merit list is over, the admission process is continued by allotting seats for the female applicants till their percentage goes up to 20%. Okay? It's not as simple as what I mentioned. There was to avoid the selection of only female students in certain not so popular branches of engineering. Some mix-up was also done, and with this kind of system, it could be raised. So this is what was actually done by Government of India, and as a result, it could be the percentage is raised to 20% right now. It was limited to 20% so far, and that was the case. If we go back to my previous assignment where I spoke about the Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technologies, very interestingly, 50% of the seats were the rural girl students. There, the education, including the hostel charges, were paid by government of Andhra Pradesh, the then Andhra Pradesh, when I was the founding vice chancellor of the university. And so perhaps that has been an attractive feature, and even rural households have sent their girl child for education in this university. And in the year when I left this university, completed my term and left this university, that is in 2014-15 academic year, the girl student percentage was 50.1, slightly higher than the male student percentage. So that was the advantage. Of course, these children were gifted rural children. Therefore, we cannot also generalize this statement that maybe free education has prompted this education, particularly with the lower economic groups. I cannot generalize that because these were gifted children. But then that was an observation and an experience of myself. So certainly, so this means that for certainly considerations of the financial considerations do matter in the lower economic groups when it comes to educating a girl child in our society, and it's an unfortunate reality. So therefore, a financial support, so towards the education of that, or if the governments bear part of the cost of the girl child's education, I'm sure it will improve the percentage of the admissions into engineering. That is one. That is my inference from the experience. Well, we need to educate the society. Because all of us are aware of this fact that we need to further educate the society. The society has to further improve on this front in providing equal opportunity to our female counterparts.
Thank you so much, Dr. R.V. Raja Kumar, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm sure the BW Education readers and viewers have enjoyed it. Those who have missed this can watch it on the BW Education YouTube channel, or they can watch it on the BW main YouTube channel, or read it in bweducation.com. We wish you luck in terms of nurturing careers of young professionals. And I loved the fact that you said there is only a positive impact on placement, and more women are coming. And we wish you luck and look forward to having a conversation soon again with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and particularly for putting up this kind of outstanding questions, which are very relevant. Therefore, I have my own interest in participating in this endeavor. And I thank all the viewers who are going to browse through and who have already participated in this session. Thank you very much.